My name's Kathy Plumridge and I'm the Deputy for Prep in Year 1. This year we're unable to have our parent information evening in week 3, so I thought I'd use this video time just to share a little bit of information about how we teach reading and spelling at Belmont. Now, we're deeply committed to ensuring every child learns to read and read well, and we know for that to happen we need to make sure they've got a solid early language and literacy foundation. So at Belmont, we're aware that phonics needs to be explicitly and systematically taught, and it all begins in the first day of prep. So our preppies have been busy learning groups of letters and the sounds those letters make. We've been concentrating more on the sounds because it's those sounds we use to start putting together to build words. We've looked at the way our mouth is formed when we say those sounds, and we've also given an action to each sound, and that will come in handy later on when we're prompting children to write. Now, it doesn't take long before students know enough sounds to put them together to make groups of words. And thank you to those parents who are chipping away at their spelling cards at home. If you take a word like sat, if the children know the sounds s, at and t, it's then the job to put those sounds together. So s, at, t, sat. That skill is called blending, and that can be very laborious. And it takes a lot of practice for that skill to become automatic. So parents, please hang in there. I know that's hard work at the moment. We're also using text where most of the words in the text can be sounded out. So these are called decodable readers. And if you look at the words on the page, most of those words can be sounded out there. So these are the types of books that will be coming home. More and more will be coming home throughout the year as we continue to build our decodable library at school. Now, as you read, there are also some words that are a little bit tricky, that can't be sounded out. And these words we call are phonetically irregular, meaning not every word, not every sound in the word can be sounded out. For instance, said, we're familiar with the S sound and the D sound, but in the middle, this is the tricky bit. So these words are taught independently to children. These words are seen a lot in text, so it's important that they remember these. So these phonetically irregular words will also be taught throughout the year. Our prep students also spend a lot of time learning to spell, and it starts straight away. Spelling is like the opposite of reading. Children start with a whole word and then need to be able to work out each sound in that word. For instance, top, they need to be able to identify the t, the o, and the p, and of course write it down. This skill is called segmenting, and it usually follows the skill of blending. English can be tricky. There's 26 letters in our alphabet, but those 26 letters produce 44 speech sounds, and those 44 sounds can be represented in almost 150 different ways. So it's our job at primary school to expose the children to those sounds and explicitly teach each one of them. So as the children move through the years, there's an order or a continuum of spelling patterns that the students are exposed to and learn. And the words, of course, as we know, become longer and more complex as they get older. But we know children learn at different rates. So our program differentiates so that students aren't rushed or held back, and that they're working at a spelling stage that suits them. So each week in our classrooms, all the students revise or are exposed to a new sound, and after some explicit teaching, they break off into groups and work at words at their level. So we want our students to master that level of spelling they're working at, and the teachers are continually checking in on their progress. So spelling is more than just memorising a list of 10 words. It's the way we did it when I went to school a long time ago. We want students to know the variety of ways that those spelling patterns can be written, and we also want them to be familiar with the rules and generalisations that go along with each of the spelling patterns. So for instance, that long A sound, if you look at the AI in rain, AI is normally found in the middle of words, whereas AY in the word play is usually found on the end of words. It's simple things like that that we teach our children as we move through the years. Now, there's lots more I could talk about, but I hope that's given you just a little bit of information about the way we teach reading and spelling at Belmont. Thanks for listening, everyone.